Today, one of the key conversations in Parliament is about administering the government efficiently. It is also one of the key complaints people feel on a day-to-day basis when interacting with the government. In fact, in Sri Lanka, the SLAS, or the Sri Lanka Administrative Service, is responsible for the administrative functions of the entire country. It supports both the central government and provincial councils, acting as the permanent bureaucracy that ensures day-to-day governance. The SLAS began functioning in 1963, 15 years after we gained independence. But before 1963, how were we run? Here we have a creation of the British. For the entirety of the 19th century, that is the 1800s, all the way to independence and beyond until 1963, our administrative functions were run by the Ceylon Civil Service, or the CCS. The CCS became the backbone of the British Empire in Sri Lanka. They were the administrators of this island. It was initially British men who were hand-picked by the governor. Patronage was the mode of recruitment. Eventually, though, it became merit-based, and then Ceylonese were able to sit the exams and become CCS staff too. So, according to V.K. Nanayakara, who wrote a book on the topic, the CCS staff ran the entire country, and to support their efforts, they worked with the local chieftains. These were mainly the Mudaliyas, the Adhikaras, the Desavas, the Mohattalas, the Vidanas, and all other chief and native headmen. These officers of the Ceylon Civil Service were trained in England. The standards of our civil service were pretty high. The examination they had to pass was called the Haley-Berry Entrance Examination. Within 2 years of passing that exam, they had to also face something called an efficiency bar exam. If any CCS member didn't pass this examination within 3 years of attaining CCS position, he was terminated from the civil service altogether. As you can imagine, it was considered one of the highest appointments to become a CCS officer. In fact, at that time, marrying someone from the CCS was considered a huge deal. In fact, my grandfather was a member of the CCS, and at that time, he was the second person from the Muslim community in this country to attain CCS status. So you can imagine what an honor it must have been for my grandmother's family. Unfortunately, I never got to meet him. He passed away very young while on CCS duty serving in Vaunia. After 1956, when SWRD Bandaranayake came to power, the CCS was accused of being too elitist and not different from the departed colonial rulers. Charges of non-cooperation were leveled against them. Eventually, the Ceylon Civil Service was replaced by the SLAS. At that time, it was called the Ceylon Administrative Service, and the CCS system was basically put to rest. So that's the story of our administrative system ever since the British landed in this island. Currently run by the SLAS, formerly we were run by the CCS. And before the CCS, the Madras Civil Service under the British, this is India's version of the CCS, was responsible for our administrative affairs.